What's good, people? We've got one-on-one. 12th man's back. I've got a good friend, I would say, elite panelist, one of my favorites, one of the best from Liverpool content out there. Don Hassam in the building. It's been too long since it's been a stream just with us two anyway. And I always enjoy these ones. Big up to everybody that's raided from your channel, and big up to you for allowing that to happen, my guy. The only thing I have a kind of bone to pick with is I don't really appreciate the hate from the Warra UCL. I mean, like, what's this got to do with me, my bro? This was this Souls guy on your channel, which I didn't know actually, but it was very funny and very entertaining. And I did watch that. If you haven't checked it out, people, it is a very, very good segment towards the end of Hassam's latest A-listers with Carefree Lewis and Souls talking about who's the bigger club, Chelsea or Arsenal. And to be fair, I mean, I've known Lewis a very long time, and Lewis was just shouting Champions League. So that was very hard to debate, but it was very box office entertainment, as it always is over there on Don Hassam. Make sure you're following Don Hassam. Links in the title. All you've got to do is click there, get him up to his next target, which I believe is 60K. Is that right, bro?
54K, not yet 60K, not yet.
Now let's go for the big ones, man. It's in tens now. Come on, you're big time. Let's get him up to 6-0, and let's get this up to 5-0. People, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Make sure you're following both myself and Hassam. We're going to be talking Liverpool and Arsenal, but mainly I want to talk to Hassam about Liverpool because my club are doing nothing in the transfer window, so there's not much to talk about. But Liverpool are flying, I think we need to start there. Once you've hit like and subscribe, people, make sure you're following Match Bingo because it's club football at the moment, Club World Cup. Not that I'm massively into it, not that I've been watching much of it, but people are winning money on Match Bingo. So please make sure you're showing them some love. Make sure you scan the QR code, or you, of course, click on the link in the description or in the live chat and get that downloaded and go and have fun with it. It's very easy, apparently, to get some good winnings on there. So go and enjoy Match Bingo. Hassam, Liverpool. First of all, my question is an obvious one for you. You're not going to like this question, but I'll ask it anyway. You and I saw things very differently about a year ago of FSG. And then I decided to come over to your side of the fence with the whole Virgil van Dijk, Trent and Salah situation in terms of the ownership and board and neglection of that. I never thought you were serious into the summer of the transfer window because Chiesa was a terrible window. Is it time to now say they've woken up and perhaps you got it wrong and FSG actually do care and they are a good ownership? Because you asked that question very early on and I said, myself, calm down. Let's see it yet. See what the summer does so far. It's only Frimpong. Let's calm down. And now it's going kaboom. And I think the owners deserve a little bit of credit. Or are you not going to be willing to do that yet, Hassam?
Would you be wrong about Arteta if you win the league next season or win the Champions League?
Yes, I would actually, because I don't believe
But you were right about him for the last 3 years because you haven't gotten over the line.
No, but the reason I would be wrong and I'd hold my hands up because I still don't believe he will do it.
Okay, so you don't believe that he will ever get over the line?
No, I don't.
Okay, so my argument with FSG the whole time was I want them to spend the money, and if anything, this literally proves that I was right about FSG all along because we do have the money. And we are capable of spending the money. And we can spend the money. And we can drop British transfer records. But we've never done it before. When's the last time we did it? When's the last time we spent serious money like this?
Well, you tried to do it with Caicedo, to be fair. You tried to do it.
Tried to, but the point is 2018, 2019 is the last time we spent big money like this. And we only tried with Caicedo towards the end of the window. Where was it at the start of the window? Where was the interest at the start of the window? The thing is, I know you work with Errol and big up... and like Solitaire, but he's done irreparable damage when it comes to the FSG conversation because I know he backs them like crazy, so it's impossible for me to come here and change your mind in like 30 minutes or so, but the facts are there for everyone to see. Before this transfer window, we literally have less spent than Spurs in the last 4 years, and that's Tottenham Hotspur, never mind City, never mind Arsenal, never mind United. And that's why for the last 4 years before this one, we didn't win a league title. We didn't win a league title, we didn't win a Champions League, so that's the thing. So look, for me, on the FSG thing, I've always said if they show consistent ambition and the willingness to win and the fact that they want to win the trophies, then I will say I was wrong about them. But I'm not going to say I'm wrong about them because of one transfer window. That's so disingenuous, because this transfer window does not change January. It does not change the Chiesa window. It does not change the January before that, where we had the injuries and we didn't sign anyone, just like you guys are mad at right now. I was mad at FSG last year for the same thing, because we were top of the league come January time. We had all the injuries and we bought absolutely nobody. And it doesn't change, you know, all the things that we've done wrong before that, like for 3-4 years. So for me, I look at FSG, and I've always said I'm willing to change my mind if they do show consistent ambition. And it doesn't even need to be like big windows like this. If next summer we need, like, let's say, I don't know, like a center back and a DM or whatever, we go and we sign the center back and the DM, then you are showing consistent ambition. You're showing the fact that you want to win. And this is the first summer, literally since 2018-19, that we're showing that we actually want to win. Because that summer was the Allison summer and the Van Dijk, like that period of 6 months where we got Allison, we got Van Dijk, 2018 summer. That was the last summer that we were serious. And guess what? The year after that, we went and won the Champions League. And the year after that, we went and won the league. So spending money, yes, it does not always make you successful, but it definitely puts you in a better position. Which is why, at this moment in time, after one transfer window, I'm not going to say I'm wrong, because if anything, I'm proven right. What have I been saying all this time? Spend the money. Oh, look, we have the money to spend.
So your statement is not, I apologize, FSG, I was wrong. Your statement is, finally, FSG, you've woken up, right?
Yeah, 100%. Because I cannot say I'm wrong. I was wrong about FSG because of one transfer window. That's just the truth. It's impossible for me to say that. If you know, it's like, okay, maybe the Premier League and the Champions League is next level, but if Arsenal win the FA Cup next season, you weren't necessarily wrong about Arteta, because it's not enough after 950 million to just win an FA Cup. I know I've heard what you said on the Straight Fact, so I know you disagree with the logic, but I'm just saying the logic for the Arteta outers in terms of, like, okay, after spending 950 million, we're back to where we started by winning an FA Cup. So for me, look, I said I'm willing to change my mind, and I'm capable of changing my mind on stuff. But at this moment in time, I simply cannot change my mind, because all they've done is just proven me right. So we do have the money. And when I asked for money to be spent the summer before and the Januaries and stuff, I got told this is not FIFA, this is not Football Manager, we can't spend money like Man City and blah, blah, blah. And now look, we've signed Wirtz, Kerkez, Frimpong, and we're targeting Isak as well. So guess the club are playing Football Manager.
Bro, it's crazy. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It is an absolute madness. You guys,
I saw the video with Lee Judges and Troops, by the way, just so you know. Absolute meltdown as soon as Isak was mentioned. Beautiful.
It was unbelievable. That clip has done pretty well, as I thought it would. When Troops lose his mind, everybody watches, man. Let's be real. He's the GOAT, man. I love Troops. But let me talk about Liverpool's window. We'll come to Arsenal. I didn't see this coming, Hussam. I've got to be real. I thought you'd have a good summer. Like, I thought you'd spend.
No one saw this coming.
Bro. Thought you'd have a good summer. I expected and predicted Manchester City to spend, Liverpool to spend. I foolishly expected Arsenal to spend. Well, I say foolishly. I still think we will spend. I just don't know what it's going to be like, right? I expect Chelsea and Newcastle to spend. So I'm expecting to see a busy summer. You guys are smashing it in terms of who's won the window so far. Like, people have said Man City, but I really don't see how you can say Man City have won it over Liverpool, for me, personally. If you get Isak, there's not even any question who's won the window, right? But there's a huge question mark on that, which we will come to. But let's talk about some of your signings, because I think the one that's obvious to start is Florian Wirtz, right? That, for me, so far is the signing of the window. Not just because of how much it is. I genuinely think he's one of the best number 10s in the world. Like, I genuinely believe he's that good. I know a lot of people have mentioned other names, and I understand why, but this might be an unpopular opinion for some. I think he's better than Musiala, personally. Like, just from watching both of them. I think Florian Wirtz has got more about his game. I think Musiala's quality, by the way. And it's a bit like when you compare two greats, you always think, oh, the other one's crap. That's not the case. They're both fantastic. But this guy is so good, bruv. And I think that when you smash the record for somebody like that, you want it to be on one of those positions, either a centre forward or an attacking midfielder. I don't think Liverpool have had a great attacking midfielder probably since the Coutinho times, if I'm honest with you. I can't think of another proper number 10 that you've had that I go, rah. I'm not really a fan of Szoboszlai. I think he's okay. I don't think he's bad. I think Harvey Elliott is okay. I don't think he's bad, but I think that you now know that these guys are stepping aside for him. I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to be exceptional in the Premier League. Thoughts on Florian Wirtz, Sam?
I agree with everything you say in terms of what you said about Florian Wirtz. I agree he's better than Musiala. I think Musiala is a better dribbler than him, but Wirtz is a better playmaker, which I prefer in the 10.
Agreed.
I'd rather have someone who's better, like in terms of the final pass, than someone who's better at dribbling. Even though I do admit that Musiala is a very good player, of course, and he's second, so he's not. We're not disrespecting him. I agree with what you said there, and the numbers prove it as well, because Wirtz does get more assists, more chances created, etc. Now, thing is with Florian Wirtz is obviously it's been funny seeing the City meltdown over this last week and a half, 2 weeks or so, because all of a sudden City fans are talking about value for money. I've never ever thought I'd see the day where a City fan is talking about value for money. It's mad. The team that won the jackpot 15 years ago, you get me? 130 charges on their head top one, talk about value for money. Look, Liverpool over the last 3 summers, I would say, or 2 summers, have had really horrible experiences with trying to attract big players because of what happened with the Caicedo, what happened with Tchouameni, what happened with Bellingham, what happened with all these players, Zubimendi even last summer. So it's just such a different feeling when you're on the other side of the coin, when you're not part of the Florian Wirtz rejects X, Y, and Z, when you're not part of the X, Y, and Z, and you're actually like part of the club that the guy is gonna join. It's massive. I think there is no bigger statement of intent than winning a league title and then going and signing Florian Wirtz. It's just mad, given the clubs that were interested in him. And listen, we're not gonna speculate. We're not just gonna add the names of clubs to the table just for the sake of it. Paul Joyce and Ornstein reported both that Bayern Munich wanted them, Manchester City wanted them, and Real Madrid wanted them. So that's been the report. So these 3 clubs wanted them, and he chose Liverpool Football Club for multiple different reasons, regardless of what they are. But I think it's going to have a massive impact on us. I think he changes the way that we play. He changes our creativity. And there's something that everyone probably here has noticed. For the most part, in most games, if Mo doesn't give us any creativity, it's really like the rest of them are just sat there going like, oh shit, what do we do now? Like, think of it this way. You insert Florian Wirtz in that Carabao Cup final, Liverpool win the Carabao Cup final, because then you'd have a different level of creativity. The problem is it got to the stage where in certain important games, all teams were doing was, we're literally going to put 3 people on Mo, and then the rest of them, if they beat us type thing. So if it wasn't, like, if Gakpo doesn't have a moment, if Diaz doesn't have a moment, if Jota doesn't have a moment, like the Everton game or whatever, we kind of had like a null and void situation. So Wirtz gives us that extra creativity. He gives us that player who maybe when you're playing against a low block team in a big game like the one against PSG's prime example, because you saw it with your very own eyes. There is no such thing as too much creativity. You can never have too much creativity. The more creativity, the better. And the perfect example, actually, and this is just the truth, the measuring stick right now is PSG. They're the measuring stick in Europe because they won the Champions League. So whichever club wins the Champions League is the measuring stick, because you have to look at it and try to replicate and imitate. The truth of the matter is, you look at that front 4 that they play, PSG, and they're all very creative. They're all good on the ball. They're all incredibly technical. Now, we can't necessarily replicate that at Liverpool. We can't, because we don't have a desired way or a Kvaratskhelia or a blah, blah, blah. You might say, okay, we've got the Mo, who's probably like a better winger than all of them, but the other parts put together can't create that symphony. And Wirtz helps you create that symphony in terms of creativity. And another thing that people aren't talking about, which is Wirtz is a big game player. When Bayer Leverkusen needed a win to seal the Bundesliga title, he scored a hat-trick. This season, even with Bayer Leverkusen getting knocked out in the round of 16 in the Champions League, so they didn't even go far, Florian Wirtz has had the most man of the matches in the Champions League. Not Dembele, not Mo Salah, not Declan Rice. It's literally Florian Wirtz with the most man of the matches in the whole Champions League this season, for a club that's not even really renowned for their time in the Champions League in Bayer Leverkusen. So for me, I look at that signing, it's a statement of intent. Me and you grew up watching Man United do this year in, year out. Robin Van Persie. I could go back so many examples. Like they would win the league and then just sign the best player in the league, literally, that doesn't play for Man United. That's what they always used to do. And we've gone and done that. This is a statement of intent, and Liverpool are scary.
Liverpool are scary. Although I don't see as many videos, Arsenal are the ones that are scary from what I understand. We haven't won anything for 5 years, but we're the ones that are scary people. However, let's not talk about us yet. Look, man, you've replaced both of your fullbacks. I don't know if you've upgraded on the kind of prime Robertson or Trent yet. I don't know that you will, but I do think they're two excellent signings. I've got to be honest with you, brother. I think Kerkez was the best left back in the Premier League last season. And I also think Frimpong is a very good, how can I say this? He's a very good player to bring in. He's not Trent. Trent, I think, is generational. I've got a lot of time for Trent. I know he can't defend, but I don't think it matters when you've got everything that he has. I think Frimpong, for me, will be a very good signing. I don't think this will change too much how you play, and I think that's important. If you were bringing in two Pep Guardiola, Mikel Arteta type centre-backs, stroke fullbacks, I think it would change the way you were playing. So what I mean by that, if you was to go and bring in Calafiori as your left back and Ben White as your right back, I think that you might be thinking, crikey, where are we going here? They're not like, they don't bomb it up and down the wing. I mean, I know they're quite good going forward, but they're not at the same level. I think Kerkez and Frimpong are known for going forward as much as they are known for going back. They can defend, but they're not really known for like putting in brilliant tackles and, being a John Terry at the back. They're known for going forward and creating. How do you think that'll work? Because this, for me, is not quite Jurgen Klopp. I think Slot's a lot more relaxed and a lot more refrained and from going forward and kind of restrained in, Mo, don't have to track back because you'll probably do your hammy at 32. So you just chill and let the guys do it, right? He's like that. Whereas Klopp's like, no, everyone intense, running up and down the line. Do you think that'll be a good thing for Slot, these two coming in?
Look, you said he's not an upgrade on Prime Robertson. This is not Prime Robertson anymore. His first assist was match week 35, match week 36 against your club. Like, that's not Prime anymore. That's washed. That's what we call it. We've got nothing negative to say about Andy Robertson, but he's just finished at this moment in time. And I think it's time for us to move on. And, the Atletico move will do him the world of good, but it does us the world of good as well because he has completely regressed over these.
Is he going there? Is that a done deal?
Yeah, I do think that he is going to end up going to Real Madrid because the problem is you're not going to convince Andy Robertson to be backup left back, but you can convince Tsimikas to be backup left back. So he'd happy to take that
you
role.
You keep Tsimikas then. Okay.
Yeah, of course, because you still need backups. I'm not trying to play Kerkez against Stockport in the third round. I obviously want to play Tsimikas in those games.
Yeah.
Look, we 100% improved on the left back. Left back is 100% an improvement because current Kerkez is better than current Robertson. It's a very basic equation. Right back, I cannot say we improved yet because we can sit up here, we can be disingenuous or we can be truthful. And the truth of the matter is Trent is obviously better than Frimpong at this moment in time. That's why Trent was wanted by the biggest club in the world because he's the best right back alongside Hakimi, maybe you could say, in world football right now. So, yeah, I think Kerkez is a massive upgrade on Robertson. And right back is very interesting because someone mentioned in the chat earlier on saying that Conor Bradley will start. Here's the thing. I look at that right back position and I think the right back position will be more of a fluid situation. Maybe if we're playing, let's say, Leeds at home and we need someone who's completely like just bombarding that side, we're going to go with Frimpong. Maybe perhaps in a big game, Slot might trust Bradley a bit more because he's a bit more, better defensively. So that's what I'll say. But for me, I like the direction. It's funny because Pep and Slot are doing the same thing. While Arteta does the 4 center backs, Pep and Slot have gone like, nope, screw all the center back stuff. Let's just go like, okay, you grew up in an era where when you were 15, 16 years old, you saw your right backs and your left backs overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, traditional, almost like failed winger types, if you would like, just overlap, put a good cross in. And I think that's really what Kerkez and Frimpong will do. Just overlap with the wingers, try to create crossing opportunities, cutback opportunities. They're just prototypical fullbacks. And that's also what Manchester City are doing. Livramento, Ait Nouri, they're trying to do the same thing. Overlapping fullbacks that will create chances. So I really look forward to watching both of these guys. As much as I look forward to watching Wirtz, I look forward to watching them as well and seeing how the dynamic will work in the team.
Look, I agree. I think it will be very interesting. And I also believe that Kerkez people are sleeping on how good I think he's going to fit into Liverpool. I honestly think he's so good, man. If I could pick a left back other than Nuno Mendes, it would have been him that I would have gone for. And I'm talking about anybody. Like, give me all the money and go for a left back. It's like that are realistic. I genuinely believe he is really good. And those that believe Ait Nouri is a better signing, I disagree. I don't think Ait Nouri is a bad player, by the way. I think he's very good, but I actually believe Kerkez is better. I actually do. I think he's genuinely got more about his game. I think he looks more creative. I think he has a little bit more of an engine, if I'm honest, going up and down. He looks like scary. And I speak to Sam quite a lot, who's a Bournemouth fan on my channel. He loves him. Absolutely loves him. He's like, this guy's so good, man. Like, so good. So I think it's going to be an excellent signing. Frimpong, we know a little bit more about because obviously, if you're bringing somebody in from a different league that we're not sure about him, what else he like, we know what he's about, what he did with Bayer Leverkusen and how kind of crucial and pivotal he was under Xabi Alonso for that kind of brilliant year that they had last year. I think that was season before last, I should say. I think that that's a really good signing as well. Obviously, you'll be happy with his interview because he wants to win everything at Liverpool, which is obviously what you want to be hearing, right? So fair play. I think those two are good signings. I wanted to talk to you about the scenario at centre-back quickly because Quansah looks like he's going to Bayer Leverkusen.
It's done. It's done.
So that's done, yeah. Sorry, I'm still getting over my cough, so apologies. For me,
I know you guys have hay fever over there, and it's really hot as well.
No, right? I've been getting over COVID, mate. So that's been me. But,
get well soon.
It still exists. Yeah, I'm okay now, but I have been. It's still the cough just stays, doesn't it, for ages? Anyway, like Owen's come in and said it's confusing. Guehi wants to come to Liverpool. Palace are in Europe. He'll play every game there, guaranteeing an England start. But at Liverpool, he's not better than Van Dijk or Konaté. He won't play much. Now, look, Quansah's leaving. Joe Gomez, no idea. But obviously, you have got Konaté and Van Dijk as your pair. Guehi comes in. He wants first-team football. I don't know that he definitely does get it. Now, I'm a big fan of Guehi. I think he's an exceptional centre-half. But I also am a very big fan, obviously, of Van Dijk, but also of Konaté. Now, I spoke to a Liverpool friend of mine today who says, he's coming in to replace Konaté. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he's coming in because Konaté is off to Real Madrid or if he's coming in because Van Dijk retires in a couple of years and he's going to be replacing him. How do you see this working, bro?
Here's the thing. Liverpool are going to play 38 Premier League games. I would say I would be disappointed if we get knocked out before the semis of the Champions League. Like, I want to win the Champions League, but anything below semi would be like a complete shock to me. So that's another, 8 group stage games, 4 knockout games. We're already at 50 games. I haven't even counted the Carabao Cup. I haven't counted the FA Cup. I used to say the same stuff that Owen used to say. I don't know who Owen supports, but I used to say the same stuff that Owen used to say when Man United used to get bare players back in the day. I remember when they had a front 3 or front 4 of Tevez, Ronaldo, and Rooney, and then they went signed Berbatov, and then they signed Luis Saha, and they signed all these players, and they just kept scoring goal after goal after goal. Virgil van Dijk is 33 years old. He's not capable of playing week in, week out, every single game, Saturday, Tuesday. There will be times where you will sit there and you will actually see Guehi and Konaté starting games. I'll give you a prime example. Come March time, come February time, Liverpool quarter-final of the Champions League against Atletico Madrid. We're playing Leeds at home in the Premier League. If you go Guehi and Konaté against Leeds at home, you'll still beat them. That's just purely the truth right there. If I'm playing Leeds at home, if I'm playing like whoever, I don't even need to go like from a promotion side. I can even go like Brentford at home. If I'm playing Brentford at home and my 2 starting centre-backs are Konaté and Guehi, I can beat them. If my 2 centre-backs are Guehi and Joe Gomez, I can beat them. Like, I don't need to go over the top. And then I can rest Van Dijk. I can give him a week off and then go like Van Dijk, we're away at the Wanda Metropolitano against Diego Simeone, his shithousery. You've been here before. You've won the Champions League before. I need you in that game. And then you can just pick and choose which games you play him. And rotation is very important. I think Mark Guehi is going to play minimum, because he's mentioning the Euros and stuff. He's going to play minimum around 30 to 40 games, like overall in all competitions this season. And if Mr. Thomas Tuchel sees a player that is a part of a winning team, so let's say Liverpool next season win the Prem and the Champs as an example, or whatever, right? Let's say we win 2 competitions. If he sees that, and with Mark Guehi playing a pivotal role in it, and he doesn't call him up, then the problem is with Thomas Tuchel. The problem is not with Mark Guehi, because he's played his role. I don't think he's replacing Konate. I think we're going to take the L on Konate because winning a league title is worth more than the 40 million we're going to get for him this summer or whatever.
Do you think he'll go on a free?
Yeah, I think he'll go on a free and it's okay. I'd rather Konate go on a free and us win the league and the Champions League than get 40 million for Konate. And now I'm looking for another centre back because we need 4 centre backs minimum in terms of like rotation and stuff. So what? I'm gonna go buy another one? No, I think we might just take the L on Konate, but make sure it never happens again. That's basically it.
I can't believe that it is in that scenario, man, where you've just had this situation of Mo Salah, Trent, and Van Dijk, and now you've got Konate who's next, and I believe it's Alisson's next. It's like, come on, man, like what's happening here? It's just like get the contract signed. This is crazy. But again, that's board on ownership, right? We've had that scenario years ago with Ozil and Sanchez and Aubameyang. We've been in the same boat, man. And I blame the ownership and board back then as well. So same scenario. Look, I think he's an exceptional centre half. I actually think he's really good. I think Newcastle and Chelsea would probably be the better moves for him if he wants to play week in, week out. If he is happy to go fight for his place, go be part of something which could be part of all 4 competitions, I still think his England position would be safe, by the way, if he went to Liverpool. Because I think
exactly. Who's kicking him out the team, by the way?
Yeah, I don't think no one is coming behind him, if I'm honest. I mean, maybe Jared Brantwaite if he has an unbelievable season, but I don't really believe he's better than Guehi. So I don't really rate Levi Colwill like that. Don't tell Don that because he'll tell you he's the next bloody John Terry or something. However, I don't think that he's coming. So I think we're all good there. But look, I think it's an exceptional signing. I'm hearing it's like £40 million. That's a bargain, by the way. Is that true?
Yeah, of course, 100%.
Because he's got 1 year left
nowadays.
Yeah, he's got 1 year left, right?
Just like Konate, he's got 1 year left, and that's why it makes no sense to sell Konate. By the way, that's literally why. So so let's say Dan Potts is Richard Hughes. I'm Real Madrid. I call you. I'm like, yo, I want Konate right now. Instead of you losing him on a free, here's 40 million. Now you take that 40 million. Who are you gonna buy as a centre back at 40 million to replace Konate with?
Yeah,
what am I going to do with the 40 million? Nothing.
You're not going to. That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is you're just saying, I've accepted that Liverpool have messed up and he's going to go on a free. We just keep him for a year. Okay, now, do you know what?
Yeah, because that puts me in a better position to win the league or the Champions League. Because remember, you can't change too much now. We can't do it Chelsea. Because I've mentioned it on the other stream. These are the spine players for Liverpool. Alisson, Konate, Van Dijk, McAllister, Gravenberch, and Mo. Those are the spine. And then you can change around that because me and you grew up seeing Chelsea change around that. Because Chelsea's spine was Cech, Terry, Ashley Cole, Frank Lampard, and Didier Drogba. And they changed players around that. You can change 5 players in the starting 11. You can change 4 players. But you can't go ahead and change like 6, 7 players because it makes it a lot more difficult. And now you need Guehi to settle in and perform. And you need this guy to settle in and that guy to settle in. And it's a mess. And all of a sudden you're in a Chelsea situation.
Yeah. No, look, you've backed up your opinion as to why you believe that, and I'm kind of feeling it, to be fair. I think it's ridiculous that you've put him on this 1 year thing and you didn't sort it out last summer, but you haven't now. There's nothing you can do about it. You've got to move on with it and deal with it as best as you can. Before we go into the obvious one, which is the elephant in the room, which all the Newcastle fans are going to hate talking about yet again. Are you done in midfield? As in a central midfielder, like a holding midfielder? Are you going to keep Endo and Gravenberch? Or are you going to go into a madness in this position as well? Because you know the situation. You can't tell me that you've gone in for Caicedo before. Look at your face. You've gone in for Lavia before. You've gone in for Zubidou, who we're going to get now, which we'll come on to in a bit. And now you're happy to just keep Gravenberch and Endo. For me, is there going to be a Baleba bid or an Adam Wharton bid or a I don't know, Edison bid or something coming in as well along these lines, or are we not? Are you not going to go there either?
You know, Potsy, I'm someone who just became a billionaire off of crypto. I don't know how to behave. Now we have all the money in the world. Let's go. We're spending the damn money this summer. We're putting it all on the table. You know, one thing I realized, and I saw this online, Arsenal sell horribly. Liverpool completely opposite. I'll tell you 3 transfers right now. Jota is wanted by Newcastle. We asked for 43 million. Harvey Elliott is wanted by Brighton. We asked for 42 million. And we just sold Kwanzaa for 30 plus 5. And we got a buyback clause on him. And we got first refusal on him as well. and we're gonna sell Andy Robertson for 10 million, which is what we paid for him like 10 years ago, the 8 million pound fee. So we sell really well. And as things stand, listen, I haven't seen us linked to a midfielder this summer, but never say never. I know for a fact, and I'm telling you this right now, the club do like Adam Wharton. But now me and you have to be objective here. If you go to Crystal Palace and Crystal Palace are taking the piss and they want like 80, 90 million, then no, we're not going to get him. But if, let's say, they want like whatever, 50 million, it's a possibility. It's not impossible, Adam Wharton. Baleba, I think that's the difficult one right there, because Brighton just fleece the shit out of the top 6 clubs.
They'll want 150 million or something crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna go like minimum 100 million for Baleba, and you're just like, I like Baleba, but he's definitely not worth 100 million, because I could call Real Madrid and probably get Camavinga for 100 million at this point. Just, so yeah, 100 million is mad, bro, but it's yeah, I'm excited about all the other positions, but midfield, not yet.
I think you can get away with Gravenberch and Endo. I don't actually think Endo's a bad backup, to be fair. Gravenberch was superb last season. You got McAllister as well. So I don't think it's an absolute necessary, but I think if you was being picky, you'd probably want to look at that as well, man. Let's talk about the big one. If this happens, I'm gonna actually go and watch Leyton Orient for the season. Because
you say that you're gonna be on air, man. You're gonna be inviting Igal, asking about unprecedented circumstances. You got me, Igal versus Lee Gunner, episode 5 million. He got me. Let's go. They're fighting each other.
Yeah, you know me too well. But Isak is an unbelievable player, and we've got quite a few Newcastle fans that watch this channel because I've always bigged up Newcastle. Got a lot of time for him. I think what they're doing is great. I personally believe he's staying at Newcastle. I've got to be honest. I think he's staying at Newcastle. However, if he doesn't want to sign the new deal that Newcastle fans believe he's going to sign, then he would be easier to shift out because obviously he's only got 2 years left. Now, if there is a bid that's going in of 120 million, Arsenal need to be going in for that bid as well, which we'll come on to in a minute, right? But you just said something very interesting, which I didn't know until now. They want your striker.
Yeah.
I did not know this. I've not seen Jota to Newcastle at all.
Not actually just Jota. They like Jota and they like Joe Gomez as well, by the way.
Okay. Is there something that's on the cards there? Is that your belief?
I want to ask you a question first. I know I'm here to answer your question, but I want to reverse this.
No, that's how it works. Go on.
I'm going to ask you a very basic question. Who the fuck are Newcastle? Tell me.
Oh, you've done it. This is going to go mad, this chat. But go on, explain to me. Go on.
No, but I like you're describing it like I'm trying to buy a Barcelona player. I want you to tell me.
I'll tell you why then. I'll come back.
Tell me who's Newcastle. Tell me.
I'll come back here with this because I agree with you when you're looking at Newcastle as Newcastle of old. But now that they've got themselves in a position where they can compete with any other club in terms of their finances, I think it's going to be harder to take some of their players. I think it will be harder to take Bruno G, Tonali and Isak than it would have been to take Alan Shearer and Les Ferdinand and David Batty back in the 90s, right? And then if you look at the scenarios of Manchester City and Chelsea, we weren't saying this when they got their takeover. The only reason we're saying who the F for Newcastle, what you're not saying that now, is because PSR has not allowed them to go crazy like Man City and Chelsea were allowed to in the last 4 windows. So that's what I will say to stick up.
You realize the longer you're talking, the more you're making my point. Keep going.
No. I don't know what your point is yet, if I'm honest with you.
No, keep going. I'm
I'll say this lastly, then I'll let you come in because this is where I'm at. When Manchester City signed Robinho and Adebayor and Toure and Lescott and Yaya Toure, nobody went in for their players because they were able to be fairly competitive straight away because they were able to spend all that money. Newcastle have actually not gone mad yet, in my opinion. And because they've not been able to compete straight away, because it's a different league now, trying to beat Pep City and Klopp's Liverpool it would have been, and obviously, the mighty Super Mick Arteta, it's been harder for Newcastle to be really successful. So that's why I believe it might be a different period now. And I think that it might be harder to take some of their players. But I might be wrong. We'll find out in the summer, Hassan. Go on, talk to me. What do you think?
Here's the thing with this Isak thing. First of all, I've got no problem with Newcastle. Liverpool and Newcastle are obviously not rivals. If anything, you get me. Newcastle hate the Scouse Mackhams that are Everton. If you ask Newcastle fans, they hate Everton a lot more than they hate Liverpool. I've got no problem with Newcastle, not rivals or anything. I like Newcastle. I like the Geordie accent. You get me? I haven't met an ugly Newcastle woman either from my experiences on Twitter. I'm doing this professionally right now.
Facts.
So I have no problem with Newcastle, man. Big up Newcastle, big up the Toon, big up all these guys, big up one of the biggest clubs. I respect that. But with all due respect, Isak did not grow up wanting to become the next Shola Amiobi. That was not his dream growing up. Newcastle have won their first trophy in 70 years. And their first trophy in 70 years is the Carabao Cup. I want you to put Newcastle to the side. I want you to put Liverpool to the side. Let's speak about this objectively from Isak's perspective. Completely objectively. I'm not going to say anything that is crazy at all. I'm going to say something completely objective. If you're in Isak's place, the Premier League champions are coming in for you, who just signed Florian Wirtz, Kerkez, Frimpong. They're current league champions. They've signed a contract with Mo. They've signed a contract with Virgil van Dijk. You have a genuine possibility, if you sign for Liverpool, to win the Premier League and win the Champions League. Why wouldn't Isak want to move? Because guess what? This Newcastle project can work. And you already mentioned all the PSR and FFP troubles. But best case scenario, Newcastle win the league 3 years, 4 years from now if they recruit really well. They still have a lot of building to do. Let's be honest here. Obviously, Fabian Schär is not going to be a Premier League champion. Miley is not going to be a Premier League champion. Jacob Murphy is not going to be a Premier League champion. Nick Pope is not going to be a Premier League champion. So they still have a lot of work to do. They do. And even Newcastle fans will tell you that. I just said Newcastle can win the league in 3 years. I'm being very objective about it. If you're in Isak's place, are you going to sit there and wait 3 years until this project comes to fruition? Because in my eyes, I think Isak would want the Liverpool move, but then Newcastle might just price him out of it. But that's a different debate. Now, obviously, the scaremongering, if you would like, from the Newcastle journalists and stuff like that, talking about 200 million. With all due respect, 200 million, I'm not looking at Isak. 200 million, I'm looking at Mbappe, Haaland, Lamine Yamal. That's 200 million. 200 million is not Isak. I think the max I'd go for Isak is 120. That's the max I would offer them for Isak. Now, it'll be very interesting to see how Newcastle play their cards on this and how Isak plays his cards on this. Because, once again, back to Isak's perspective. Because I did the same about my club. Newcastle fans might be listening to this and really raging right now. But hear me out. Just listen to what I'm saying. Dan Potts worked with me this year. He has heard my opinions. From August, I've said Trent has gone to Madrid. From the beginning. Yeah. Why? Because you have to look sometimes from the player's perspective. Just look at it. Let's all put ourselves in Isak's shoes. Premier League champion wants to sign you. With Wirtz, with Kerkez, with Frimpong, with Mo, with Van Dijk, with McAllister. All these players exist at Liverpool Football Club. He obviously would like to move to a football club where Isak will now become a Ballon d'Or nominee. Isak will be a nominee for Player of the Season. Isak will be up there in terms of European Golden Boot. He's got Mo Salah playing balls in behind for him. He's got Florian Wirtz playing behind him. And exactly what James just said. And he's in his prime. Isak doesn't know how he's going to be 3 years from now, 4 years from now. Me and you don't know. But we know right now he's unbelievable. He himself knows that right now he's unbelievable. So from his perspective, he obviously wants to move. From Liverpool's perspective, we want the move. So now it's down to Newcastle. Now, do I think Isak is the type of player that's going to kick up a fuss and not show up to training? No, I don't think he's going to be that type of player. So if a Newcastle fan will tell me that, I see them triggered in the chat, Giniesta and Sophie and all the Newcastle fans, you get me, KH, all of them. Do I think Isak is going to kick up a fuss? No, I don't. So if you were to say Isak is going to respect Newcastle and blah, 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 I'd agree with you. But he would definitely be tempted. So it just depends what Newcastle are going to do. Because Newcastle can say publicly that they want 150 million, but me and you both know this, Potsy. No one's paying 150 million, with all due respect. For me, 150 million plus, I better be getting Lamine Yamal, Erling Haaland, blah, 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 Kylian Mbappe, best of the best who's done it at the highest level, I'm talking about. 2 years ago, when Madrid wanted to buy Mbappe from PSG, not when they got him on the free, the summer before that, they bid 150 for Kylian Mbappe. Now, let's all be serious. Kylian Mbappe is better than Isak. Let's all be for real, okay? Because at that moment in time, he was like World Cup top goal scorer and everything. And even then, they only bid 150 million. So that's just the truth. So for me, 120 million, I think, is more than enough for Isak. But it depends what offer Newcastle will accept. It depends what Newcastle will say yes to, because they do need the money. And I'll end on this. And I'm going to say something that might make you go like, whoa, he's crazy. But I'm actually cooking. It's better for Newcastle to sell Isak right now. Because Newcastle at this moment in time cannot win a league title. Even they are in the Champions League, they can't win the Champions League. Let's all be serious here. If Newcastle want to become a consistent Champions League club, hear what I'm saying. Consistent Champions League club. Meaning, for the next 3 years, they want to finish in the top 4. Very fair, right? To get PSR, FFP up and all this. If you sell Isak for 120 and go buy 3 or 4 players that cost 30 to 40 million who are in that very good echelon, you will remain in the Champions League for the next 3-4 years. Because Newcastle right now, with all due respect, they don't need A-star players. Liverpool need A-star players because we can win the Champions League, because we can win the Premier League. Arsenal the same, City the same. Newcastle don't need them. Newcastle now want to remain in the top 4, compete in the Champions League, and just have a respectful season, if you would like, in the Champions League. Which is why, if Newcastle take that 120 million and go sign 40 million centre back, 40 million right back, 40 million midfielder, 40 million striker, it would put them in a better position, because they need squad upgrades. Because me and you have both watched this season. As soon as Newcastle get a couple of injuries, they are fucked. And they can't afford to fall out the top 4. So from a logical perspective, improving your squad with 3 to 4 players who are very good is better than keeping the top class player, because you're not going to use the top class player for winning anything right now. You need to get top 4.
Sam's popularity stars just went down 60% with all of the Newcastle fans in the chat here. Big up, man, for saying it how it is and how you feel it is. Look, I'm going to disagree with a couple of things, right? Not much, because I think what you're saying is fine. You're Liverpool. If you were talking as an Everton fan, I'd be questioning what drugs you've been on, right? You're a Liverpool fan, right? So when I look at the scenario of why you would go to Liverpool, I can't deny it's a very attractive club. I'm going to ask you another question in a minute, which might be a bit of a good debate, right? However, I actually would pay 150 million for him.
Oh,
I can't lie. And I'll tell you why. Because I think if you got him, you're guaranteed trophies, majors. For 30 million more, I'd just do it. If that meant, if they said, right, 120, nah, give us 150, and you're going, nope, it's 120 or no more, we're walking away. I think that's crazy for 30 million extra. This guy is literally going to take you to the next level. And whatever that next level may be, I think it could be doubles, trebles, maybe something madness, right? I think he's that good. I think he's exceptional. And if there is a chance that you can get him and he wants to leave, and that comes for Arsenal as well, by the way, because we definitely need to be in for this deal if this is something that has got some legs. That's, for me, what it could be. I just think it might be a season too early, Hassan. I think it might be that Isak is genuinely thinking, right, I'm not going to sign a contract here, but I am going to stay one more year and see what actually Newcastle are all about, now that the PSR thing has come into it. Now, I will say I'm disappointed by how Newcastle are moving in this window, if I'm honest with you. I know it's just opened and all that, but I can't be hypocritical and say I'm not disappointed with Arsenal, but I am disappointed in Newcastle because both of us have done pretty much nothing. And the players they're linked with are like Elanga and Trafford in goal. Like, that isn't going to do nothing for them to win the league, in my opinion, right? And they're thinking of selling Gordon to you guys, which I'll ask you on quickly as well. Look, I don't personally feel like Isak is definitely 100% staying, but it's just my gut feeling. If I had to be a betting man, I actually believe his next club will be in Spain in a Barcelona shirt next season. That's actually what I genuinely believe.
100%.
Because they're incredible and Lewandowski's got one more year, right? That doesn't mean I don't think he's going to go to an Arsenal or a Liverpool or somebody else, but that's just my gut feeling where I'm at, man. So quickly talk to me about Gordon, and I want to ask you a question about Arsenal. So do you think there's legs in this? I mean, he obviously wants Liverpool. I don't know if it's a great signing personally. I'm not a huge lover of him. I think he's okay, but I think for that money, it's wild. What are you telling me?
I think that ship has sailed. I don't think we're going to sign Anthony Gordon. I'll give you a very short answer to this. I think the ship has sailed with Anthony Gordon. I don't think we're going to sign him. If Anthony Gordon was going to be a Liverpool player, it was going to be last summer. Now he's extended his contract as well. I don't think. I just don't think he's coming to Liverpool. I'll be honest with you. So
No.
yeah, I think that ship has sailed. I think it's probably even today it was reported by Sasha Tavolieri, who's a good journalist when it comes to French football, that Liverpool are looking at Malik Fofana for left wing, which I expect. A player who just cost 30 million, 40 million, whatever. Just someone like that. We don't need to go spend 90
highly
100
rated
million
apparently.
on left wing. Yeah.
Yeah, highly rated. Let me ask you this question. I'm not going to ask it as a question as the chat would like it, because me and Assam don't normally go to and fro with each other because we're normally on the same wavelength, to be fair. So I'll ask this question in a bit of a different phase, right? I'll put it to you as a statesman. I'm not going to ask you where should Isak go out of Arsenal and Liverpool, okay? Because I think I know what the answer is going to be, right? So I'll do it in this way. You're Alexander Isak, and these are your two options, right? You're leaving Newcastle. Sorry, Newcastle fans. I don't think he will go before everyone starts losing their mind. Let's just, for this debate, let's just pretend that he is leaving. Because they know what they're like, man. They come for you.
I do know what they're like. I do.
Yeah. I've had a lot of them that they love me, and then whenever I talk Isak, they unfollow me for a few days and they come back because it's all love.
Yeah.
But let's just imagine the unthinkable happens and Isak's leaving, right? He's got two options and he wants to stay in England. He's got the two options of Liverpool and Arsenal. He's guaranteed to play in both of them, right? Because if he goes to Man City, he's not going to play every game ahead of Haaland, right? So for me, Liverpool and Arsenal are the two. He's got the choice of going to Liverpool, unbelievable club, huge club, bigger club, won trophies in the last 5 years. You can see why it would be attractive. Money is not going to be an issue at any club, to be fair. He's going to get wages at both clubs wherever he goes, okay? Then he's got the scenario of Arsenal, okay? Now, it's hard for me because obviously I try to keep it real, but I also try when I can to defend the club. I still think we've got Paul. And I still think we've got Paul. And I still think that we can attract him and we can tempt him to Arsenal. Right, I'm not saying that we can attract him ahead of Liverpool by any means. Yes, because you've got one of those, we've got 6 of those. Yes, we know that. But just hear me out. Not the question, why would he choose Liverpool over Arsenal? Not the question, why would he choose Arsenal over Liverpool? The question is, what do you think Isak would do in that scenario? Right? Now, hear me out. Well, it's just not just we've got Paul. Arsenal are in a very good position to win trophies. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think we've got the manager to do it, but a lot of people are telling me that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just bear with it. So Isak's going to be told, you've got this project. You're coming in. You're wearing Thierry Henry, your legend, your hero's shirt number 14. You're an Arsenal fan. You're an Arsenal lover. You're here to be the final piece to win one of those you've got in your hands and the Premier League trophy. And I don't care if it's not gold like some do, right? What does Isak do in that scenario out of the two?
Great question. Great question. I know you said they're gonna phase it in a different way. What phase is your questioning? That's the better question.
Well, what would Isak do? Not what do you think Isak would do? Because it's not that question of what's the most promising for him. What do you think Isak would look at there?
This is what I think
Isak would do. A sentimental point of it is like, do you know what? I want to go to London. I want to be Thierry Henry. I want the number 14. I believe that Arsenal are going to win trophies. I'm set up for the next 5 years. Or do you go and think...
Oh, he wants to be Thierry Henry. So tell me who on the Arsenal side currently is Dennis Bergkamp? Who's Perez? Who's Robert Perez? Who's Freddie Ljungberg? Tell me who's Patrick Vieira?
He wants to be Thierry Henry.
Who's Tony Adams?
Not he wants to. I mean, everyone wants to play with Bergkamp and Adams, right? And Perez. But
yeah, everyone did back in the day. And guess what? If we were doing the stream in the year 2001, I would have said everyone should choose Arsenal, 100%. It's just the reality. As things stand, my brother, I don't need to speculate. There's no speculation involved in my life. You said if Isak comes to Arsenal, we might get over the line. I've seen my club get over the line twice in the last 5 years. There is no might. I've already seen it.
Quickly, just on that point, do you think Arsenal will get over the line if we sign Isak?
I mean, it gives you a much bigger chance of getting over the line because as things stand...
And what I mean by over the line, I mean one of the big ones, right? The Champions League or the Premier League, not just the cup.
Of course.
I mean, I've obviously phrased it that I would be cool with a cup because I never dismiss trophies, but I'm talking about we're not buying an Isak to win a League Cup, are we? We're bringing in 100%. Isak to go and win 100%. The Premier League or the Champions League. And I personally feel, Arteta in or Arteta out, I feel that team would be good enough to go and win a Premier League or a Champions League.
I agree.
If we got Isak.
You said Isak's perspective. I'm Isak. I have the same exact contract from Liverpool, the same exact contract from Arsenal, same exact offer. Club agreed both. It's up to me. I've got league-winning manager who's done it in 2 different leagues, who's about to win Alkmaar the league. I've got Mikel Arteta. I've got a manager that plays offensive football. I've got a manager that plays defensive football. I've got a team that contains Mo, Virgil, Florian Wirtz, Konate, McAllister, World Cup winning McAllister, and Alisson Becker. I've got a team that contains Declan Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, and Bukayo Saka. Who do I choose? It's very obvious. The answer is obvious, and you know it. You know it deep down. That's why you're trying your best. You're a good salesman because you gave a really good monologue and it was beautiful to listen to. But let's all be serious now. If you're in Isak's place, if you want to win this, or if you want to win the Premier League, you know the correct move. Me and you both know the correct move. Because look at even the signs of just pure ambition. If you're in Isak's place, you think you don't want to come to a club where you look to your right. Mo's over there. Behind you is Florian Wirtz. And to your left is either Gakpo or Diaz. Versus, I've got a club that's linked to Noni Madueke. Plays Trossard and Martinelli on the left. Bukayo Saka, fantastic player. Odegaard. Where would you go? Easy answer for me. Big up, 6-time Champions League winner, Liverpool Football Club. And also, by the way, while we're here, Alex Ferguson can hold that. Alex Ferguson can absolutely hold that. And, next season, Fergie, guess what? We're going to drop 21 on your head top. Not just because it's a life work it's going to be life work for absolutely nothing. Because you had the audacity to say that you got us off our perch. We're back on our perch. All it took was 5 years, Fergie. 5 years, Fergie, and we're back on our perch. While you watch Man United,
why was that?
Wait. It gets worse. While you watch Man United finish 15th and lose a European trophy to Tottenham Hotspur.
To be fair, I'm always for the banner against Man United, man. I can't stand them either. So, you're not going to get anything from me against that. Why was this banner not put up more than the Arteta one, by the way?
We actually put up this banner before the Arteta one, but the media never reported
no one see it. No one see that one. They all see that was the best one of the two.
This banner was the first game after we were league champions, away at Chelsea. Literally, first game away at Chelsea, we had this banner.
This is why I tell you that Arsenal are social media Champions League kings, because we are more relevant than any other football club in social media and YouTube. Like, we win. It's crazy. I wish we won trophies and not that, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. Look, let me quickly give you a spill of truth here now, okay? So I had that exact conversation me and you've just had with an Arsenal friend of mine, and listening to you was like listening to me, Hassan. Real talk.
You tried to present his arguments as yours,
So I had to try and present his arguments to mine, and I just want to play this back to him so that he can see that we're going to lose this one, right? Because there's nothing that we can say at the moment. Maybe, in 2004, when I was an invincible and you was down, waiting to try and win your Champions League in Istanbul the year after with Rafa, I could have said that this is just no competition. But I think that you're in that scenario, and this is why you and I have been honest about this in terms of our rivalry, because whenever you were good, we were crap. Whenever we were crap, you was good. Fact. That's just the way it has been. And even this season, when I'm like, finally, Arsenal and Liverpool get to go at it. We didn't even put up a fight. There was no title race, bro. It was just dead. So I can't even call you rivals this year. Maybe the season to come we can. Maybe, City, Arsenal, and Liverpool could go and do some three-horse race, but if I'm honest, the way things are looking at the moment, I think that we're in third place as things sit, because the transfer window is looking good for both your clubs, man. Which leads me nicely to the last few minutes about Arsenal. Let's do some super chats before we do that. Apparently, is this true? There's a bomber.
Nah, this guy's a liar. I banned him on my channel earlier on.
Oh, really? Okay. We've done Owen super chat. Let's go to Ollers, who says, I prefer Osimhen to Isak. I also want us to hijack Rodrigo, sell Diaz, Jota, Nunez, and Chiesa, and buy Guehi from Crystal Palace. Let's break that down.
Oh my God, if we sign Osimhen and Rodrigo, give me the league. Yeah, give me the league and pack it in, mate. It's done for all of you.
He's not asking for a lot there, is he? He's going to get some of that. I guess Chiesa, Nunez, and Jota could be out the door. Diaz, I've got a question mark over. I don't know what's happening there. Rodrigo, that would be incredible. I'd be gutted if you got him, because that's who I want. Obviously, Guehi, I would take him, but I think he's going to choose Liverpool. And Osimhen, I mean, let's be real. I think Osimhen would be a fantastic. There's 4 really, isn't there? There's 4 that we talk about. It's Isak, who's obviously number 1. Osimhen, Alvarez, and Gyökeres are the only other ones that I would go okay to.
Not
I don't
Sesko?
want Sesko. No, I don't want him. And I know you don't as well. So look at you raising your eyebrows
he's
like you
shit.
want him.
Holy shit.
You think he's shit? Really?
Before Sesko was linked to Arsenal this summer, he was linked to Liverpool. I'm not going to say, oh, by the way, I said something without evidence. Go to my channel, go to shorts, scroll down a little bit, find the Sesko clip, and you'll see it. You know what I said? I said he's Darwin Núñez with a left foot. I know he's right-footed, but I mean he's essentially like just another version of Darwin. Sesko's crap.
Okay. Look, I'm not a fan at all. I don't want him. I've made it quite clear as to why I don't want him, and I hope we don't get him. But look, we'll talk about that literally in the next bit before we close. Wijnaldum says first domestic title in 70 years. Facts matter. Obviously, he's coming.
And we just won 2 league titles in the last 5, and won a Champions League in the last 6. And like, so where do you go from here? Why you want to do Newcastle versus Liverpool comparisons? Come on, man.
Yeah, you're not going to win that one, Newcastle fans. You Liverpool. If I can't win it, you definitely can't. He says, question to Sam: why aren't Liverpool in for Gyökeres? His fitness level is much better than Isak's, who's injury prone. I don't really buy the injury prone thing with Isak because I think the last couple of years he's proven to be quite fit in most of the games. Unless someone can tell me differently. But Gyökeres, I must say, I actually think Liverpool, they obviously want Isak and I understand why. I think they would be interested in if they can't get him or if they believe that it's not impossible, he's unobtainable. I think they would go to an Ekitike or Gyökeres or maybe an Osimhen. I think Ekitike and Sesko are kind of same for me. I'm not really interested in those two. But what would you say if you can't get Isak? What do you think will happen?
I mean, I would take Gyökeres. I want to make something clear. You know, Dan Potts mentioned 4 names. I'll add a 5th to the list. I'll add Ekitike. If we sign any of Isak, Alvarez, Ekitike, Gyökeres, or Osimhen, we win the league. Now, the only difference I think comes in the Champions League. Isak gives me a bigger chance of winning the Champions League as well. Alvarez gives me a bigger chance of winning Champions League as well. Same with Osimhen. Gyökeres I really like. I think he's an unbelievable goal scorer. Obviously, Núñez has done irreparable damage in terms of, props for the Portuguese league strikers because he is the absolute worst pound-for-pound signing. And I'm still running that celebration when he leaves the football club. I promise the people a long-ass stream, and you bet your ass we can do a very long stream when he leaves the club and just sit there and be partying for 6 hours. We're going to play every StreamYard available song and just dance together. So look, we can go for Gyökeres, but I've seen 0 links with him. So it might be Osimhen because like Núñez goes to Napoli and then we get Osimhen. And they also like Chiesa, actually, Napoli, same club. So we could find like a swap deal there. And I like Osimhen too. It doesn't have to be Isak, by the way. It doesn't. But it's just Isak is the one we're interested in the most. That's it.
But you're going to get one. You're going to get a striker, right?
Yeah.
That's a nice segue onto my question. And you know what's coming. Are we going to get a striker? And if so, who?
Listen, there is horrible scenarios for Arsenal and there's very good scenarios for Arsenal. There's the Gyökeres Rodrigo scenario because Rodrigo's not even playing for Real Madrid right now. And then there is the Sesko, Noni Madueke, Sesko, Semenyo scenarios. I don't know. How am I supposed to know? Now, if Arsenal gets Sesko, with all due respect, I think Berta is basically just doing what Arteta asked him to do. That's genuinely what I believe. That's genuinely what I believe. Like I look at Arsenal right now, and if you go get Sesko after 2 years of chasing Sesko anyway, what impact did Berta have really? Like we can obviously, because someone in the chat will come say, "Oh my God, Hussam and Dan Potts are not in the meeting with the board." Yeah, of course we're not in the meeting with the board, but we can deduct things using logic. Like logically, if Arsenal wanted Sesko last summer and Sesko the summer before that, and then 2 summers after you bring in a new sporting director and you sign Sesko anyway, what has really changed? So that transfer will tell me a lot about it. I think Gyökeres would be much better for Arsenal. Sesko doesn't even come close to Gyökeres' level. And I think Rodrigo would make a massive impact. The thing with Rodrigo is because you've mentioned how badly you want him. Rodrigo has something that no Arsenal forward has, which is he could get the ball down the left-hand side when it's 1-1 or 0-0 and just say, fuck all the tactics. I'm going to dribble past 3 players and put it top bins. He's got that about him. Like, he's a clutch player. He's a big game player. He's capable of changing the game in a moment. Just like that, the game has changed. Just like that, the game has changed. So, yeah, I think this summer is the most important summer for Arsenal. And it's not you. You're Arteta out, right?
Yeah.
It's not you. It's not Igal. That's the problem. I'll tell you why it's a massive summer. Forget the Arteta inners and forget the Arteta outers. Let's look at the majority of Arsenal fans. Majority Arsenal fans are in the middle. Neither Arteta out staunchly, nor Arteta in staunchly. The problem is the people in the middle are a tipping point right now. Tipping point. Arsenal's pressure is unbelievable. Because within the first game, if Arsenal just draw 1-1 away to United, the meltdown will start immediately because the fans have had enough. And the ones in the middle will immediately become Arteta out because they don't want to be patient at all. There's no more patience. Patience is done. Patience is earned. Patience is a virtue. It's finished now. No more patience. So even the people would consider balanced and a little bit in the middle now will have a tipping point. And you need to uplift your fans. That's something that people don't really understand. Before even uplifting your own players, the fans need to be up for it right now. If I tell you right now, as Dan Potts, because I heard what Lee said, as Dan Potts, do you feel like very motivated to go watch United away? Do you feel like, oh yeah, I can't wait? You don't feel motivated like that?
Not at all.
But if your club you wake up tomorrow, you look at your phone, Gyökeres to Arsenal, here we go. Rodrigo to Arsenal, here we go. All of a sudden you're like, whoa, I know Liverpool signed Wirtz, but I'll take my chances. We've done what we're supposed to do. So that's the thing for me. So yeah, I think your fan base need uplifting, your players need uplifting. Arsenal, if Arsenal signs Sesko and Semenyo and like these level players, you are going to have a horrendous season next year.
I agree.
And that's due to player motivation. Forget Arteta, forget anything else. I saw it. We went from chasing a quadruple to being 10th and then ending up the season well and finishing 5th at the end of the year because the players lacked motivation. Ask City fans about players lacking motivation. Because if you're in Gabriel's place, if you're in Saliba's place, you, Dan, are now Saliba and Gabriel. You walk into the dressing room, first training session of the summer. You know that Wirtz has gone to Liverpool. You know that, let's say, Isak has gone to Liverpool. You know Ait Nouri, Sherky, blah, blah, has gone to City. You look around you, you see Sesko, you see Madueke, Semenyo, whoever. You're like, fuck all this. I'm supposed to go fight against Florian Wirtz for a league title with these guys? That's honestly what happens in their brains. So all it's going to take is one bad result and it's finished already.
Look, you're spitting facts, in my opinion. You know my thoughts on the manager. You know my thoughts on what's happening with the club. Ownership, who I think is the biggest problem. I'm sick of it, bro. I've got to be honest. I'm Kroenke's out. Sick of them. They're keeping a manager who I don't think can get across the line. They're doing nothing about helping him in any form of window to give him a boost, even if that was enough, that I don't believe is still enough. I'm sick of it, personally. So I've got to be honest, I'm kind of not expecting anything at the moment. The 1st of July, we're being told, is when Zubimendi comes through the door. Your favourite central defensive midfielder, Zubimendi, that is probably one of my favourite ever meltdowns from yourself. And I'm sure you're
watching this today, by the way. There's a video.
I'm sure you'll be bigging him up, hoping he does well, because you said that you wished him well wherever he goes. So, it is what it is. If we was to have this madness, though, Hassam, which we're being told is going to be a big summer again, war chest, 1st of July, we're going for Gyökeres and Rodrigo. We're getting in, let's say, Eze or Morgan Rogers or somebody like that, alongside Zubimendi and obviously the goalkeeper and the backup defender that we need. If you're looking at that as a Liverpool fan,
give me names. Give me names, though. Give me names for the position.
Okay, so I'll give you a summary of what I think would be realistic, as well as I would be. I'd be okay with realistically. You're not going to go and sign, Haalands and Mbappe's. Okay, So realistically, I don't agree with all of these, but I want you to know what if you'd think this would be a good, like, oh my god, that Arsenal are going to be scary or whatever you want to call it, right? Kepa in goal, meh, one of those, right? Backup, whatever. Not my cup of tea, but it's a backup keeper we're never going to use probably. Okay, so that's not going to do anything to scare you. However, Yoel Hato is looking fairly likely from what I'm understanding is at centre half cover. Zubamendi is done deal. I know your thoughts on him. And let me say Rodrigo at the left, Gyökeres as the striker. And let me be realistic because I think Rodgers will be way too much. Let me throw Sanket from Athletic Bilbao or Eze type creative midfielder in there as well. Do you think that's
I don't think you're going to sign all of those though, because you just mentioned so much money right there. Kepa's free, so forget him.
I don't know if I have though. I'll tell you why I don't know that I have, right? Because Gyökeres, they reckon is going to be around about 75 million, right? That's what they reckon.
Okay, 75 million.
Yeah. Rodrigo's, they reckon, is going to be about 75, 80, right? So that's 150 there.
That's 150 right out the bat.
Okay. Zubamendi is 50, so that's 200. Okay?
200.
Kepa is 5, so that's 205.
Mm-hmm.
Hato is around 30, so that's 240, let's say. Yeah. And then there's one more because it's 300 is the number that we've got. So we've got
Sanchez, let's say you sign him for another 30. That's 265.
There we go. So,
yeah, but that's unrealistic for Arsenal right now. I think Arsenal can spend 235 million.
How much do you think we're going to spend?
Oh, I think you're going to spend less than that. I think you're going to spend 150 million and less. 150 and under. That's what I think.
So that's going to get Gyökeres and Rodrigo done.
Okay, think about this logically. When Arteta wanted...
We're selling players as well, though, right? So we got money to sell.
No, you are correct. But Arteta wanted Joan Garcia, right? Well recorded fact. And then Berta said, no, fuck off, we're getting Kepa for 5, correct?
Yeah.
If you had a lot of money to spend, why would you do that?
Because it's wise to spend 5 million on a goalkeeper that's not going to kick a ball as opposed to 25 on a goalkeeper that's not going to kick a ball.
So you're saving money to try and maximize the budget
in other areas, yeah.
So the problem is as well, like even a player maybe that you could get money on, like a Thomas Partey, you're losing on a free. But if you did get the summer that you've mentioned, like all the players that you've mentioned, or even like let's say remove Sanchez, right? Let's just say you get Gyökeres, Rodrigo, Zubamendi, Hato, and Kepa.
Yeah, which I think is more realistic, to be fair.
Yeah, then of course you are in a title race, seriously, 100%.
Okay, cool. That's my point. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
And by the way, then the pressure on Arteta becomes
one player extra is basically what I'm saying, and then all of a sudden that's crazy. So I'm basically saying we don't get a Sanchez or a Eze.
No, I don't think you get all of those anyway. I don't. I really don't.
Oh, Kepa I think you're going to spend big on this. We're talking about 3 players. Kepa's done, apparently. Yeah, whatever. Zubamendi's done. Cool. That's 2. So we're talking about 3 players there.
I think you're going to spend 100 million more after these.
Okay. Which is...
So you ask me my opinion? Realistically, I think, because you just mentioned Zubamendi and Kepa, right? That's 55.
Yeah.
I think now you're going to go like one of Gyökeres and Sesko for 70, around 70. And then you're going to do the Hato deal. And I think you're going to call it a day.
If we do that, that's ridiculous.
I know you need the left winger.
We ain't got any creativity again.
Yeah, but no one's buying Martinelli. What can you do?
Well, even from what I'm hearing, if Martinelli and Trossard stay, we want this left winger because it was going to be Nico Williams. If it's not going to be Nico Williams, it's going to be Rodrigo. If it's not going to be Rodrigo, because let's just say he stays at Real Madrid or he goes somewhere else, then apparently it's going to be in for a Lookman or Gittins or one of the other guys, Semenyo, who you mentioned, is going to be one of them. I think we're going to get one.
Why do you keep forgetting to mention Madueke?
Oh, man, I don't want this.
Matt Law linked you to him today. I'm not making it up.
No, I know you're not, but it's awful. That's awful. So, okay, so let's say that's true. Let's say Madueke is true. This is going to debunk. It's going to debunk everything you've just said. By the way, you think we're going to get Madueke for 50 million, which is what they want, right? For Madueke. Why would we do that to back up Saka?
I don't think you're going to... Listen, at the end of the day, we're just doing the Madueke thing to take the piss. I think you're now going to go 70, 75 million, one of Gyökeres and Sesko, and then do the Hato deal, and then call it a day. That's what I think. So unless one of Martinelli or Trossard move.
So you think we'll get Kepa, Hato, Zubamendi, and Gyökeres or Sesko?
Or Sesko, yeah. And then you'll call it a day.
Okay.
Unless Martinelli is sold, because here's the thing: you got
Bayern
Martinelli and
Munich won him. Bayern Munich won him for 50, apparently.
who? Martinelli.
Yeah, that's come out today.
Yeah, but then if you sell Martinelli, it changes the equation, of course, 100%.
If we sell
But I
him, let's
think-
say it's 50 or 60 that we sell. I mean, if Madueke's 50, I want 70 for Martinelli. Let me tell you that. However, if we sell Martinelli, let's just say we do sell him.
I can just imagine the first show between Dan and Don, Chelsea Don. Oh my God, if you sign Madueke.
He loves
Because the thing
Madueke. He
is
loves
Don
him.
can't be a hypocrite because he actually rates Madueke. as well.
Exactly. So look, man, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to be realistic, but also tell you what we need at the same time, if that makes sense. Because you and I know that's not winning Arsenal the league if you have the summer you've just predicted.
Okay, let me make something completely clear. If Mikel Arteta signs Igal, Dan Potts, League Gunner, he still has to win the league. It doesn't matter who he signs. You have to win. I don't care. No one cares because literally everyone, everyone's had enough. Like even the Arteta inners are now saying you have to win the league or the Champions League this season or you're done. Like literally no one cares. I promise you. If you're talking about it from Arteta's perspective, this is the year where he has to win UCL or Prem. End of. Regardless who he signs. Whether he signs Evan Nielsen or Pele or Maradona, it doesn't matter. The pressure is all on Arteta to deliver. Just like I'll tell you, as a £100 million signing, the pressure is on Wirtz to deliver. We can agree. No one here sit up here and lie and bullshit. And that's why me and you work on this show together very well because we both say it as it is. The truth of the matter is now, if I'm Mikel Arteta, you have to make it work. Some way, somehow, no one gives a shit, bro. No one. There come a point in time where there is just a tipping point for everyone. And if you start next season really badly or shit doesn't go right for you, it's done. It's done. It's finished. There is no more like if buts and maybes. No one cares because guess what? You signed Havertz for 65. You signed Rice. By the way, I want to make something very clear. There is an Arsenal manager that's very disrespected. He goes by the name of Arsene Wenger. Very disrespected manager. If Arsene Wenger got backed like this in his 15 years at the Emirates, I promise you that at least had 4 or 5 leagues. I promise you. That's Arsene Wenger. If he got backed like this, Rice, you got the money. You got the money for the signings that you wanted, and you still haven't delivered. And you're signing another centre back and Hato as well. Like it's just you haven't had enough of the fucking centre backs, bro. You haven't had enough like fucking centre back.
I think the reason we link with him is because people are leaving. But yeah, I hear you. I think when you look at the scenario now, right, and I've been very vocal for 5 years. I wanted this guy gone at that Burnley game in 2020, by the way, Hassan. And we're now in 2025.
Long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago, man. And by the way, I actually believed to start with that he might have had something. He came in, it was a mess, as everyone says. We were in a right state, Won the FA Cup. I thought, oh, okay, he's won something. He's shown he can win something as a novice coach. That's impressive. And then I see what actually was happening, and it was embarrassing. Losing to Wolves at home, then Villa at home, getting pumped to these sides, etc. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'm kind of done. Then we lost, I think it was Leicester, and then Burnley. I remember we lost 1-0 to Burnley at home, on top of the fact that we just basically lost 4 games in a row and at home, and I was done. I'm like, right, this is me. I need to see this manager gone. It's not good enough. At the time, Thomas Tuchel was sunning it up in the sun. I think Antonio Conte was about, and I'm like, just go and get one of those and let's just go and see what they can do. They could probably get us into the Champions League quicker than this guy can. But he did deliver in the kind of season to give us a title race. And I thought to myself, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we needed some time. His players, let's see. Now he's had all that and he's had his time, his players. I can't be dealing with this. I checked it today with judges, right? In the whole of the Football League, Hassan, right? 92 clubs. How many managers have managed longer than Mikel Arteta? In the whole of the 92 clubs. Tell me the names of the managers that you think.
Like at one individual club?
Yep, at the same club, longest serving at the same club. Although you don't have to tell me the names because you might not know the managers of some of them down there in the bottom of the leagues. How many people do you think are ahead of him?
Oh, shit. That's such an interesting question. I would say 10 or under.
Okay. Would you like me to name them?
Go on. Pep
is one. I can't remember the name of the other guy. Hang on a minute.
Thomas Frank stayed at Brentford, no? For longer.
That's incorrect. I'll show you
Oh,
who
really?
they are. Are you ready? It's a long list. Are you ready?
Go on.
I'm obviously being sarcastic. It's not a long list at all.
What?
Simon Weaver at Harrogate. His dad is the chairman. He's never going to sack him. He's been there for 16 years. All right. Pep Guardiola,
Okay.
9 years, but just under 9 years. And then the next person on the list is Mikel Arteta. So that
There's
means
only two.
that there's only two people that are ahead of Mikel Arteta in the whole of England. Okay. One of them is from Harrogate because his dad is the chairman and he's never going to sack him. And the other one is the best manager in the world, Pep Guardiola. That means Mikel Arteta is the longest serving manager than any other club in the whole of England. And we're still trusting the process. Nobody else does this crap. Yeah. Unless Harrogate are trusting the process for 16 years with Simon Weaver.
What phase are they in?
What phase is Simon Weaver in? It's unbelievable. So look, we're not talking about Europe because I think Gasperini, Pellegrini, Diego Simeone, and there's one more I think that have also outlasted him. Right? Oh, it was Ancelotti, but he's now gone as well. Right? So I look at that scenario and think, wow, they're all. Oh no, sorry, Ancelotti wasn't because he went to Everton the year that Arteta went to Arsenal. So that's not true either. So yes, there's only literally a few more in the whole of Europe as well. So real talk, bro. No more time. This is his team. There's only 3 players that aren't his now. Saka, Saliba, Martinelli. Saliba was bought by Emery, but was loaned out for the first 3 years. Crazily.
2 of them are like 2 of your best players as well.
Yeah. And then you got Saka, who come through the youth system. Saliba, who was bought by Emery, loaned out, and he kept Martinelli, who he kept from Emery. The only other one was Tierney, who's now finally gone as well. Everybody else is his team. And you know what? Them 3 players are actually his as well. Because he kept them. He's given them long-term contracts. And he's looking to get Saka and Saliba and Martinelli all on long-term contracts again, from what we understand. There's only a question mark over Martinelli. So
I'm taking it you agree with my statement. Regardless who 100%. You get, he has to deliver 100%.
100%, bro. Now, look, you know my thoughts though about delivering in terms of what trophy he needs to win. I think he needs to win a trophy and go in for a title race. And I'll say, do you know what? I'm so starved. Cool, we've won something. Now let's see what he can do. Now he's finally won something, and he's got a winning mentality within the side. People are saying to me, that's a bad thing to say. Oh my God, you're crazy. It's a mad take. And this is coming from me, who gets told he's toxic all the time, by the way. Right. Yeah. So when it's a Premier League or a Champions League or he goes, I'm not going to say that's out of order. I'm not going to say that. Not my opinion, but that's cool. I'm calm with that opinion as well, because in 6 years, I'm not going to start doing cartwheels if we get a Carabao Cup and come second. That's not me celebrating, going, hey, we've done it. We're finally there. Process over. None of that crap. Like, he's got to go. And even if he wins the Premier League, Hassan, or the Champions League, it's not, done. Right, we can go and watch the cricket now. No, we got to go again next year and the year after that and the year after that. It's about dominating. It's not about winning one thing and going, he's done it. It's brilliant. Let's get him a statue. So that's where I'm at, bro. And look, I wanted to close on that question. I kind of feel like you've already answered it, because I know where you're at. And I think
because Dan, let's because I know like there are top gunners that watch your stream, right? It's not everyone in the chat is Arteta out, and I understand that, guys. I understand. I get your perspective. All I'm simply saying is, I'm sorry. After 5 years of building, in the words of Thierry Henry, it's a tall building, huh? It's a tall building. Like, come at some point in time, guys, you cannot keep promising something. At some point in time, you're gonna have to execute. Look at it as the relationship. You can't keep telling the person that you're dating, oh, I'm gonna marry you, and then the first year passes, and the second year passes, and the third year, and you're just sat there going, I'm gonna marry you, even she will look at you at some point in time and go like, the fuck's wrong with you? You've been saying this for the last 4 or 5 years. Right now, I'll be honest with you, there is no more feeling bad for Arteta. I felt bad for Arteta one time when you were 8 points ahead in the league, playing beautiful football, and then Saliba got injured. By the way, Dan knows this. I have zero hatred towards Arsenal. For the last 2 years, I predicted Arsenal winning the league. I predicted Arsenal to win the league 2 years ago, and I predicted Arsenal winning the league this season. So I've got no problem with Arsenal. I predicted you to win the league. But I'm sorry, after 5-6 years of bullshitting and excuses, you're going to have to deliver at some point in time. You can't keep promise to deliver, and then not deliver. And no, Genius, I don't have hatred towards Newcastle. You know, one who have a hatred towards Manchester United. That's who I have to have hatred towards. Hold that, Alex Ferguson. Hold that. You know, people talk about City being corrupt. People don't know about this guy bribing referees allegedly. You get me? Because now I'm a big content creator, so I can't just say stuff. I have to say allegedly. Allegedly, you get me? Howard Webb in a Man United shirt. Look it up. You'll go see the history. Habibi. Anyway, hold that.
Who are the three? But who are the three, by the way, that you hate? Because my three are obviously Spurs, Manchester United, and Chelsea.
Oh, mine are very easy. 1 Man United, 2 Everton, 3 Chelsea. Easy.
Yeah, Chelsea and Liverpool. There's this hate between Chelsea and Liverpool. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, Benitez Mourinho era. We're the only 2 clubs in the history of the Champions League from the same nation to end up in the same group stage. Let me tell you how Tim Pot Everton are. And we'll end on this beautiful story. 2005, Liverpool win the Champions League but finish 5th, right? This never happened before. So UEFA didn't know what to do because it's top 4 that qualify. Everton finished 4th that season. They finished 4th in the Champions League spot. They said, okay, Liverpool, we're going to do something unprecedented because the champion of the Champions League has to compete in the Champions League to defend their title. So what they did is they put Liverpool in the first round of the qualifiers. You know, when you're playing teams from like Romania and Slovakia, like they put us in the first round of the qualifiers. And they put Everton in the 4th round of the qualifiers. You know, the one where you have to win 1 game to qualify? Yeah. Everton lost the qualifier. We won all 4 rounds. And we ended up... This is how confused UEFA are, because this never happened before. They put Liverpool and Chelsea in the same group because there were no bars on Liverpool. Like, we were like this Joker card. You know, you could end up anywhere. So we ended up in the same group stage as Chelsea as well. And that's why we hate each other.
I forgot that.
In a 4-year period. We played each other 04-05. We played each other 05-06. 06-07 on the way to the final in Greece. We beat them in the semis on penalties. 08-09 we played them. The infamous 4-4 game. Remember? Alex free kick.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that's why I hate Chelsea. 100%. And then they took Torres.
If I'm honest, I hate Chelsea because of their fan base, if I'm honest. I find them the most hardest, deluded bunch of people that, like, they're going for Garnacho and Gittins. Like, they're not learning this club. Like, they are not learning. They should be going for, like us. They should be going for Gyökeres or Osimhen. They should be going for Rodrigo. They should be going for a goalkeeper like Emi Martinez or somebody like Diego Costa. They should be going for Mark Guehi. These are the players they should be going for, but they're not. They're going for young kids again, man. I mean, it's great. I'm here for it. But, like, I have to then talk to people like Don about this, and it doesn't go down well.
Yeah, because Don is a gaslighter. I told you this from when we first met. Don is a gaslighter. You get me? He's an elite gaslighter, like top notch, incredible gaslighting. But you cannot take him serious in a football debate. He keeps bringing up tackles per game, 150 million for a tackler. And then he'll come to me and go like, Florian Wirtz better get 700 GA or he's a flop. Brother, you paid 150 million for a tackler. Why are you shouting? 150 million Caicedo tackles and you're screaming at him. Enzo took fucking 3 years to be a respectable Premier League player, bro. What do you want to talk? It's not.
Yeah, the Enzo thing, like, fair play. Like, he's a good footballer, probably always was. But why is it taking him this long when you spent 115 million to be half decent? It's very bizarre for me. But this is Chelsea in the Chelsea way. Listen, man, I've kept you long enough, bro. I really appreciate your time as ever. Make sure you're following Hassam, Don Hassam, doing unbelievable content and great panel shows, great Liverpool content. So make sure you show him some love. I'm going to send you over to Northside, who's doing a show at the moment with a panel. So let's go show him some love. And Hassam, what you got coming up, bro?
Can we spam what I UCL in Northside chat as well?
I'll let the chat decide if that's what they want to do.
Let's spam what a UCL in Northside chat, please. Let's just be a total shithouse today. Let's do it. Hey, Newcastle fans, this is your chance to get revenge. You don't have a UCL, they don't have a UCL. Might as well just spam it in his chat. What a UCL. Arsenal fans who just want to trigger North Side, go for it. What a UCL. What I've got coming up tomorrow, inshallah, I've got the show with Tom and Kopish, the Liverpool show. And then at night, I don't know, we're just getting a panel show together, talk about whatever. I know no one trying to watch Auckland versus Boca Juniors. So, yeah.
My goodness, that is crazy. I'm going to try and do a 6:30 tomorrow, I think, because then it's before all the games that people will want to watch at 8. And then everybody at like 10 o'clock at night is just going to be like, right, what's there to watch now? Oh, nothing. And then 2 a.m. it's like silly. This is a crazy. I'm not sorry. I don't want to open this debate up, but this Club World Cup thing, it stinks, man. I can't lie. People are trying to big it up. It's some good games. Like when I saw Auckland lost to Bayern Munich, I was done by like 8-0. I was like, right, this is not for me. I'm done. And I've not watched the game since. I think I watched some of the Chelsea game, and then that was it. Like that was it for me. And I think I watched a bit of round.
No one is gonna watch it seriously until it's like quarterfinals. Until we get like Chelsea v Bayern, Inter v blah blah blah. Then we'll take it.
Who do you think will actually win it? By the way, I haven't asked you that. Not that I really care, but who do you think will win it?
I'd say City.
I'll say Real Madrid. Just
Yeah, one of the
because.
two.
Just because, you know.
Yeah.
PSG actually is a good shout. I didn't think about them.
Oh yeah, shit! I take it back. PSG are winning it.
Yeah,
Chat.
I think it would be PSG.
I forgot PSG are in it. My bad. Yeah, PSG are winning it. That's how little I give a fuck. I didn't even know PSG.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Bro.
I'm with you only because I saw it in the chat. But there we go. But listen, we're going to send you over to
PSG.
Northside. If you want to put Warrior UCL, then blame Hassam, not me. And we'll see you next time. Much love. Big up. Take care.